Well, we want to bring you some breaking news right now as a jury has just returned a verdict in the trial of Caysen Allison.
Of course, 6 News has continued to stay on top of this. He was charged with criminally negligent homicide. I want to send this straight over to 6 News reporter Sydney Walker. She's been following this trial from the very beginning.
Yeah, Allison faces a range of 180 days to 2 years in state jail or 2 to 10 years in prison, plus a fine of up to $10,000. He had pled not guilty to these charges. The state had the burden of proof, meaning they had to prove the jury Allison was guilty instead of the defense having to prove innocence. Based on the verdict, the 12 members of the jury reached the required unanimous decision and believed that the state proved beyond reasonable doubt that Allison had acted criminally negligent, resulting in the death of an individual, Joe Ramirez. The state presented one charge of murder but gave 3 separate theories on those means of murder. The jury did not have to agree on which method or any method at all, which from this verdict we can see that they did not agree on that, finding him not guilty of the charge of murder. After that, the jury then had to consider self-defense. There were 2 elements to that to consider if it was self-defense, to disprove self-defense for the matter. The act was not immediately necessary and the act was not reasonable. Both elements the jury agreed with clearly. This then brought them to the charge of manslaughter, meaning he acted in a reckless mental state after. After they found Allison not guilty of this charge, they again had to consider self-defense, which they disproved again. They lastly considered criminally negligent homicide, which they found to be proven, ruling Allison was guilty. In closing argument, state said that, quote, no part of this was negligence and that Allison had acted intentionally. The defense said that this was not a case concerning murder, but instead an act done out of fear. In the end, the jury did not agree with that charge of murder or the charge of manslaughter, but agreed that Allison had acted in criminal negligence, resulting in the death of Jose Ramirez Jr. almost 3 years ago to the day in that Belton High bathroom. Allison elected for sentencing by a judge, not the jury, so that is the next step, and sentencing will take place on June 16th at 9 a.m.
Okay, Sydney, thank you so much for that report and staying on top of this. We're going to send you back to your regularly scheduled programming right now.
Yeah, but if you want to join us on 6 Plus, we'll have a further breakdown on this. You heard her say June will be the sentencing. We'll have more information on 6 Plus. Join us there. Just search KCEN on your TV and you can watch for free. Back to programming.